Hello, and welcome to this Introduction to Flexibility Services webinar. My name is Maurice Lynch, Head of System Flexibility here at Northern Powergrid. And today you're going to be meeting and hearing from the wider Flexibility Service team, as well as getting an introduction to Flexibility Services. In terms of objectives, the objectives are to meet and hear from the wider Flexibility Service team, discuss what a flexible service is and how it works, discuss tendering opportunities, and to give details of how you may contact us for any questions or queries you may have. In regards to introductions, we have Nicole Butterworth, who's our Flexibility Service Analyst, Liz Sidebottom and Laura Brown, who are commercial managers in our Flexibility Service team. Although a small team of 4, there are a number of new individuals starting in the coming months to help bolster activities within our region and help drive the need for flexibility and its transition within our network. With this in mind, I'm going to pass you over to Nicole, who's going to discuss what a flexible service is and how it works.
I'm Nicole Butterworth and I work as a Flexibility Service Analyst at Northern Powergrid, and I will be discussing today what a flexibility service is and how it works. At Northern Powergrid, we are committed to making flexibility a key part of powering the UK towards net zero. Flexibility services can provide a smart and efficient way of managing the electricity network and facilitating the low carbon transition. So what is a flexibility service? A flexibility service is being able to change how much power is generated or consumed in certain locations when requested. This is to support the balance in the distribution network. You can contract with Northern Powergrid to allow us to utilise this electricity demand and generation to provide flexibility in our network in return for financial payment. So how does this work? In the next decade, electric vehicles, heat pumps and battery storage systems will increasingly become the norm in households and businesses. Northern Powergrid utilises industry standards to identify our flexibility needs and calculate the value for these services. We establish where and when these services will be needed on our network. We offer contracts to flexibility service providers who are customers that will be providing us with flexibility to respond to the network's needs at times of constraint in the network. Listed on this slide is an example. So in the winter months when demand for electricity is extremely high, we may ask generators to increase their generation or demand customers to reduce their consumption. This allows us to grow our network more swiftly to meet the needs of transport and heat decarbonisation. Listed on the screen is a few examples of the different flexibility service providers, but flexibility markets are open to a wide range of customers, including power generators, large users of electricity such as factories and supermarkets, electricity storage operators, and also aggregators. Hopefully I've provided an insight on what a flexibility service is. I'll now pass you on to my colleague, Liz Sidebottom.
I'm Liz Sidebottom, Commercial Manager for Flexibility Services at Northern Powergrid. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about how we procure and operate flexibility services. So we signpost our flexibility needs to the marketplace, and we use an online platform to run the procurement process. So once we have a contract in place, we have to dispatch the flexibility services and calculate how much payment is due. And for that, we use the Flexible Power Platform. Flexible Power Platform is a joint initiative used by a number of UK distribution network operators, including Northern Powergrid. And the advantage of that is if you're providing flexibility services in a number of different parts of the country, you'll have the familiarity of using the same platform for all of those services. So a bit now about our flexibility service needs and how we detail them and signpost them. So we launched a flexibility tender round for the Sustain product in spring 2023, looking for services in 12 zones where we needed support for the network. And this map on the right-hand side shows you the 12 zones where we were looking for services. We're looking for demand turn down or generation turn up or storage discharge. Those are all electrically equivalent, so we have no preference between those. And details of the full service requirements will be published online, and Laura will give you an example in more depth of one of those later on. And this here is an example of our first flexibility service provider, GWE Biogas. They're a Yorkshire-based firm that turns food waste into biogas, which is used to generate low carbon electricity. They turn up their electricity generation in response to our call for services at specific times, and in doing so, they support the Kirkburn primary substation and earn income for the revenue for the services they provide.
My name is Laura Brown, and I'm one of the commercial managers for flexibility services in the Flexibility system flexibility team in Northern Powergrid. When Northern Powergrid buys flexibility services from the market, it's very important that we are transparent and fair. So I'd like to take you through the tendering process we use to make sure that we meet that transparency commitment. We broadcast to the market our flexibility needs, listing the location and volumes of services that we require. We use many channels to communicate this, but our website is always a good place to find out information as a starting point. Interested parties then submit details on how they could provide the service to a network by the closing date of the pre-qualification stage. We then evaluate all the submissions. The submissions that qualify will then be invited to provide their bids for the service provision. The bids are then evaluated and contracts awarded to the winning bidders, who then become flexibility service providers, FSPs. And we're running a minimum of 2 tender rounds per year. So here is an example of what the flexibility service need could look like in a tender round. We would provide details on the Northern Powergrid substation location and all the postcodes related to that substation. We detailed the combined capacity of electrical power that we need, the upper limit of what we'll be able to pay for that service, and also the months, days and times that we need FSPs to provide the service. It's worth noting though, if you can't provide the full capacity required, it's still worth bidding with the level that you can provide, as we can take services from multiple providers to meet our total need.
I hope you found today's webinar useful and informative. In regards to next steps, our aim is to unlock all potential provision in our region by driving targeted engagement with our customers, identifying interested parties in our network area, carrying out a wide range of analysis to identify new flexibility service avenues, and utilising our innovation to unlock new opportunities with an emphasis on community involvement. In regards to details of how to contact us, please log on to our dedicated Northern Powergrid webpage or email us flexibility@northernpowergrid.com. Thank you for your time. I look forward to speaking to you soon.